Welcome to a new episode of our ESFORIN Change Makers podcast. This time, I'm happy to end the last year's episode with our homegrown experts and kick off the year as well with our founder and co-founder of ESFORIN. Welcome to our CEO and founder, Christian.
Well, hi Thea. Great to talk to you just before eWorld and before a new exciting year 2026.
And of course, a warm welcome to our CEO and co-founder, Christoph.
It's my pleasure to be on our podcast again.
So welcome to a little belated start into our podcast year. It was lots was going on at ESFORIN and in the power markets. We were very busy. So my first question goes to Christian. How would you describe the end of 2025 as a founder in one sentence?
Well, after years of significant growth, last year, 2025, in the middle was our transformation for the next growth step.
Perfect. And Christoph, the first month of 2026 is over. How would you describe the start into the energy year in one sentence?
Well, I think it was cold. And all across Europe, it's been really winter. Yeah, we've seen actually how that translates into energy prices with extreme spikes in power prices, but also a roughly 50% rise in gas prices. So overall, I would say 26 has started with very good days for flexibility.
So as a recap, I'd also like to concentrate on ESFORIN, and therefore, Christian, ESFORIN has developed enormously over the past year. Lots of new employees, new location. What's going on at the moment? What did we achieve so far?
Well, last year in 2025, to go a little bit more in details, we developed a lot our product range, especially the one-stop shop for flexibility, so that this is now running really smoothly and very successful in terms of results for our clients. We developed also new markets, so therefore we are right now present in France, even with our sales staff. We got there the first clients. We are active even in the Netherlands since years, but also there with our own sales team and also in the Nordics. And basically, so as said, this year was described by transformation to be ready for the next significant growth steps in 2026. So, and at the end of the year, we also got a nice message for the beginning of 2026. So we were selected within more than 25,000 candidates, as far as I know, as one of the 100 most successful cleantech companies, which will influence the markets significantly within the next years.
And actually for the second time.
Exactly. So that's after 2024. And this is also a sign of our success in the market as a cleantech company. And for example, even 2024, we saved more than 1 million tons of CO2. And probably for 2025, it will be more than, these are first calculations, more than 1.5 million tons. Of about 600 million tons in Germany. That's really significantly.
Christoph, looking back at the past month, lots was going on as well in the power markets, from negative to extreme prices. What surprised you most about short-term power markets, and what did you or not see coming a mile away?
Well, I think summer 25 showed more or less already like a glance into the future of what a solar-driven market will look like more or less all over Europe. Autumn actually was rather quiet, I think, or at least quieter than I expected. But as I said, summer was crazy, and the same is actually true for the start in 26, as we just discussed, with the cold spell and the impact of the cold on gas and power prices.
In conclusion, the past months were busy in the power markets as well in our company, but especially busy in the past weeks with lots of visits to customers, perspectives, and events. Christian, for instance, you were at the so-called Handelsblatt Energiegipfel in Berlin, the very prestigious and important energy industry event where the, let's say, who is who of the German energy industry meets. What were your insights and key takeaways?
Well, that's a great event at the beginning of each year where, as you said, the who is who of the utility and energy industry and also the customers, all participants in the energy market participate. So 3 days. Well, the main messages are, first of all, it started politically. So the main messages were from the German Minister of Economy, Mrs. Reiche, that, now the gas-fired power plants are secured with the EU government, so 10 gigawatts are ready at least for a tender. So we are still right at the beginning. But this was really a main topic during the first hours, nearly for the whole day. So we missed, or some participants missed, parts for the new world, which came then, for the new prosumer world, the decentralized world. And there was a hot topic, especially about flexibility, and also then a major topic, flexibility with batteries, which is the fastest growing market segment in the decentralized world with flexibility assets. But also, which was a hot topic, was basically the triangle of the energy world. So about costs, about sustainability, and then also about security, where also the gas-fired power plants were mentioned. But there, the whole future, how this will grow together, is not really clear. And I think this is a question of the next months and the next years, how fast will be, new fossil gas-fired power plants, how fast will this grow, and how fast will the decentralized world is developed, with where a lot of digitalization is still needed, and also the smart metering. I think it is a question for the future that the two parts, the centralized world, even with fossil power plants, and the decentralized world will grow together. And we have to think it from the end, because finally it has to be a secure and a sustainable and cost-orientated, cost-optimized new energy world. And a special topic was also the energy-intensive industry. They really fear that the cost levels, especially in Germany, are increasing, and they are, in terms of international competition, too high. 3 days. The final day was for AI, artificial intelligence, and that was also clear that within the next 2 to 5 years, the whole industry expects a disruptive change. Everything will change again with AI. Maybe that's, in a short nutshell, these are the messages.
So the Handelsblatt Energiegipfel is over and the next event is already around the corner. eWorld, of course. If you, dear audience, like to know more about ESFORIN and our one-stop shop energy management, you have the chance to visit us in Essen from the 10th to the 12th of February. So this trade fair can be seen as the compass of the European power markets. And the couple of past, let's say 2 years, I heard a lot of the buzzword BESS, the battery energy storage system. That was back then the great new thing at eWorld. Let's start with you, Christoph. What do you reckon will the discussions dominate this time? Will be BESS the buzzword again, or I don't know, something else?
Well, maybe not BESS standalone as it was last year, or tolling. I think that was one of the most mentioned words last year at eWorld. I personally would take my bets this year on restrictions around batteries, on behind the meter batteries, and actually maybe regulatory impacts, such as the grid fee amendment process that the Bundesnetzagentur is currently preparing. I think that would be the professional three bets. But in the end, I mean, eWorld is a gathering of the whole industry, and actually, what we've seen in the last years is that we've had the most crazy days in the market, actually always during eWorld. So maybe it's all going to be different, and we'll talk about that crazy one price spike on Thursday when we all are back on our way back home. At least in case public transport is not on strike again. So maybe we're all talking about a strike of the public transport. I don't know.
So maybe if I can add, Thea, Christoph already mentioned that a hot topic, and as said, it's a fastest growing market segment right now is BESS. I see also the cost reduction and efficiency discussion within industry, and I think there are also more sophisticated products very important. For example, what we offer also to clients, target-based purchasing for clients where they maybe run at 80%, and if within certain processes, and if prices are lower, then we can even automatically, if wanted, increase electricity supply and their production within secondary processes, for example, and vice versa. And then also flexibility is a hot topic to reduce the energy costs of our clients. And also that Christoph mentioned the amendment of the grid tariffs, so Agnes, which is a new regulation in Germany, at least for the market, which pays more attention to flexibility. These are really the hot topics, and I think, politically, it's even a discussion that we have to keep our energy intensive industry and have to support it, especially in terms of energy costs in Germany.
You mentioned Agnes. What will be most likely to, besides Agnes, to reshape the value of flexibility then in the future? Because I hear obviously that project, but also the grid connection scarcity, co-location, battery expansion. So what do you reckon will reshape the value of flexibility furthermore? I think that will be probably also something be discussed at eWorld.
Yeah, I think it's not an either or. It all fits together and actually leads to it's different pieces of the puzzle that actually build the overall picture. So I think the Agnes regulation and the currently at least proposed thoughts of the Agnes regulation basically translate into you will need to behave more flexible than in the past with your grid connection, and basically follow price signals or scarcity signals of the grid, however they might be determined. That's still unclear, but I think what is already clear is that to some degree you will need to behave flexibly in order to get grid fee discounts. And how you actually do that, I think that's the second piece of the puzzle, because it can be that you actually run your process in a flexible way, if that works. But it can also be another chance for the BESS behind the meter. And actually, if you have a process that you cannot run in a flexible way, that you actually add another asset, a battery, to your site, and run that one in a flexible way in order to get the flexibility at the grid connection point. So that's actually why I said I don't think it's batteries alone as the hot topic for this year's eWorld. I think it's restrictions around batteries. That's actually for the segment front of the meter, the standalone ones, and it's batteries behind the meter, and that is really, really closely correlated with the Agnes process, because the Agnes process is basically scheduled to go into effect January 1st, 2029, which is, from a regulatory point of view, more or less tomorrow. I think all of our customers actually need to immediately start a thinking and planning process around, hey, how do I get access to those grid fee discounts that Agnes will actually propose? And yeah, as I said, one way is potentially to install a battery behind the meter. And the other one, obviously, is to do exactly what we've been doing for the last 10 years, to monetize the flexibility that is already embedded in the process. But I think the good summary and conclusion is we can help them all, because we are more than happy to trade the industrial process flexibility. And also we are more than happy to optimize the battery front of the meter or behind the meter. And as Christian said earlier, actually not only in day ahead and intraday wholesale trading, but also in auxiliary services. We call that a one-stop shop. And that's exactly what we do. Actually, again, not only in flexibility management, but we can also be your supplier and do the optimization, really including the supply contract and the portfolio management. And in case your flexibility is not coming from a battery, but from a gas-fired asset, actually there's a third layer of the one-stop shop translating into the gas supply as well. Because whenever you change the way of operations of a gas-fired asset due to price developments on the electricity side, it creates, let's say, volumes to be optimized on the gas side as well. And that's the three layers of our one-stop shop. So to sum it up in one sentence again, wholesale versus auxiliary services, flexibility trading, that's like the core of our one-stop shop concept. The next layer then really is to embed that into a supply and portfolio management concept on the electricity side. And the third layer is to add the gas side as well, if that makes sense for the asset owner.
So lots of topics intertwined, worth deep diving at eWorld. And what I can hear from your insights is that you want to remember ESFORIN as the one-stop shop for any kind of flexibility. As lots of different asset owners and managers, from, battery investors to industrial processes, are visiting our stand and that want to have their flexibilities, all kinds of flexibilities to be optimized. What, Christian, would you say in the conversations you have in the past, or you will have at eWorld this time, do you want our visitors to remember when they leave?
Well, basically, it should be clear that we are the one-stop shop for flexibility optimization and for short-term optimization at all. As Christoph explained, in terms of cross-market optimization between all sales channels for flexibility in terms of intraday and of ancillary services, but also then the cross-commodity optimization, for example, for industry, if you have industrial parks still also with gas-fired power plants, we do everything in short-term optimization, from gas optimization, even within days for power plants, and then make or buy if electricity is cheaper from the market. We reduce power plant production, sell gas, for example, and increase power supply from the market, and vice versa. And then on top of all, the whole intraday optimization, balancing energy and flexibility. So again, one sentence to keep in mind: one-stop shop for all kinds of short-term optimization within power and gas.
Discussions, insights, and lots of innovations can be expected at our stand in Hall 2. But what is also to be expected from us is to not look into the future, but to have a plan or some innovations that we like to share. What can we expect from us until, let's say, the next eWorld in 2027? Or what can we expect from the market?
Well, for example, as said, the hottest topic also in our internal development is AI. We have AI within our algorithms since years, but the further development will be still breathtaking. And to improve further, to support our algorithms and to be always the benchmark in the market. So therefore, we have created also, besides our internal AI experts, a cooperation with 1 Alpha. So that's TUM, Technical University of Munich, with the team of Professor Knoll, to a leading AI expert, even in the international scene. To go deeper, for example, into AI-based forecasts to market the flexibility in the best way, to recognize patterns and to forecast patterns within the energy markets already well enough in advance, and to market the flexibility of our clients in the best way. So I think one of the hottest topics within this year is that AI will take place and will be integrated in all kinds of processes in our operations, as said, flexibility, trading, sales and marketing, but also in all kinds of support processes with AI tools which we have. This we will heavily improve within the next months and integrate in our processes.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe at next year's eWorld, we are not even there in person, but represented by AI agents or avatars. I don't know. So.
Oh, that would be sad, because we have a live stand party on Tuesdays. So only with an avatar, it would be probably boring. So but let's see.
But there we will be still there, but maybe for the future, the next year's discussion you have to do with our agents.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think looking at the eWorld 2026 is only around the corner, so looking at 27 might already be quite a stretch. But I would be very, very happy if people remember our one-stop shop concepts and the talks about that, rather than the complexity and the problems that they might face. So to me, eWorld is really around solutions rather than problems and complexity. And again, you mentioned our party on Tuesday night. I think another thing that I would hope for many people to remember is our great hospitality and some dancing on Tuesday night.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that, Christoph. Yeah, we come to an end of our podcast, and I hope that you please be creative. That would be my wish for eWorld. What will be this change-making headline you'd like to read about ESFORIN or the energy economy in Europe this year or after eWorld?
Well, around ESFORIN, I would like to read the headline, one-stop shop all around short-term optimization in terms of power and gas for our clients.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I'll join in on that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your time, and I hope you, dear listeners, also enjoyed this episode with our founder and co-founder, and hope to see you all at eWorld. And if you tuned in after eWorld, hope you enjoyed our insights.
Well, also from our side here, many thanks. Think about one thing, we can be sure that it will be, again, a very exciting and innovative year with the whole energy industry and also with ESFORIN.
Thanks a lot for listening, and see you at eWorld. And I'm really looking forward to 3 very intense days with all of you.